Hey, Coach Thompson here. I'm going to walk you through a cradling exercise that you can and should do in your very own home. So for this exercise, we're going to need a few things, one of which you probably guessed already, and that's a mirror. So the mirror that I have here is pretty ideal. It's a full-length mirror, so it could be really useful for this drill that I'm going to be walking you through here. If you don't have access to a full-length mirror, that's okay. Probably somewhere in your house you have some kind of mirror. Maybe it's mounted to the wall. That's awesome. You can still work with that. It just means that you may need to move a little farther away from that mirror so that you get a better view of what we're going to look at in this exercise. If you don't have a mirror that is in a space that you can work in, you can get creative. This one I actually just picked up off the side of the road, so yay for free stuff. But you could also, work with family and friends. Someone might have something like this that you can use and set up for yourself. Obviously, if you have a great little home gym set up, you might have a mirror already in that area. But you can see for this exercise, you can use any space in your home. Again, you just need a mirror. You may want to move some things away from your area. So if you have something fragile, especially if you're a beginner player, you might want to move some of those things out of the way. It might mean sliding a chair over, something like that, just so you have a little bit of room to do some basic little footwork exercises in this area, and you just feel comfortable with that space. So once your space is set up and you're good to go, you're going to be using this mirror to analyze how you're doing with your cradling skills. You're not going to be practicing anything new in front of the mirror. I would recommend that you work outside when practicing new skills. But if you have a basic understanding already of cradling, this is a great exercise for you. If you are a beginner and let's say it's pouring, but you still want to work on your control with cradling, I would just recommend maybe leave the ball out of it. But again, if you've got some experience already, go ahead and get started with the ball in your stick. So when cradling, what we're going to do for this exercise is really focus on our comfort level, how we're looking when we are kind of checking out that reflection. So for instance, do you find that as you're cradling, you're very stationary? Are you noticing in the mirror that you don't have a lot of movement and comfort in staying on your toes and kind of bouncing around a little bit? So that's something you might want to look for in the mirror. So staying on your toes, that's something you can improve just by looking at your positioning. Check that out. While you're working against a mirror, the idea is you actually can look at yourself while you're working. So again, if your comfort level is still at that beginner, basic kind of level, you might find in trying to work with the mirror, you're actually looking more at your stick. That's a really big indicator that you do need more practice, and you want to try to get a little bit more comfortable with taking your eyes off of your stick and looking onward. The mirror is a great way to work on that because in this exercise, you can still look at your stick movement and how you're controlling the ball, but you are getting used to kind of lifting your head up and looking around a little bit more, even if it is just looking at yourself. So it's another great exercise for beginners in that way. Think about how you feel as far as your comfort level in different levels. When you look at yourself in the mirror, do you notice that you start to falter a little bit as you drop your stick down? Do you find yourself getting a little bit more rigid in different levels? So you want to keep that comfort on your toes and you want to be able to move and work at different levels. The whole time you're looking at yourself to try to analyze that. Do you find that at certain levels when you're working, the ball seems to move around a little bit more? That's something that the mirror can reveal for you. Something to think too as you're looking, what other players have you seen work on cradling before? Maybe teammates, maybe other athletes that are working at a higher level than where you are right now. That's what you're looking to analyze when you're working against a mirror. If you're feeling comfortable with a basic cradle, and as you are analyzing yourself against the mirror, you feel like you're ready for something different, remember to stay on your toes and start to work on moving up and back a little bit. Even though we're inside, we still have the potential to move within the space that we've set up for ourselves. So when you're cradling again on your toes, And now, what do you look like when you actually shift forward and shift back on your toes? So if you are a player that is more at the intermediate level, you can also introduce a fake at this point. So moving your body forward as if to throw off a defender. Again, if you're working at a more basic level and you might even be uncomfortable with just having a ball in your stick, you might want to lay off this skill just yet because you are working against a mirror. So before you throw in any kind of crazy new fakes, just keep in mind you don't want to, hit the mirror. That would probably throw off your workout for the day. So again, once you're feeling more comfortable with the basic levels, a little bit of footwork is something that you can move in to shift around, and you could even try a fake. Something else for my more intermediate and advanced players, when you're working against the mirror, you can be working on different switches as far as how you are changing into that non-dominant hand. So how does that look? Do you feel more comfortable switching hands from one position or another, from right to left, the other way around? That's something that you can work on as well. This exercise is great overall, just because you don't need to have a nice sunny day to work. Good luck, try this at home, and let me know how you do.